Hi. The three-term contingency is mostly known as the ABCs of behavioral or operant conditioning, looking at the antecedent, behavior, or consequence. As a school psychologist, I've often used this over the years, primarily when working as a school psychologist on the East Coast. We were given more opportunities to conduct functional behavior analyses on students. Right now I work in Colorado, and they actively employ applied behavior analysts, so we do not do that as much anymore, but we do collaborate with them quite a bit on such things. But a prime example in my profession that we've used the three-term contingency on is when going into rooms to observe students, especially students on the autism spectrum or with behavioral issues. We go in, do observations, and aptly look at all of the ABCs of their behavior. So an example might be, I have a student, say, who is high functioning autistic, or Asperger's as they used to call it, and we'll look at what drives their desire to ask certain questions over and over, and we'll look at what's going on directly prior to their asking the question, and then we'll look at their response to whatever the teacher or person they're addressing provides them, and then look at what was driving their behavior. What was the consequence of them asking? Did it provide them with the information they were trying to seek? Did it make them want to enter into more of a kind of fight or flight mode? And so basically we're using that three-term contingency to see what purpose their behavior serves. And that way, in order to bring about any change or to provide information to teachers or staff that work with them, we definitively define what happened prior to, such as if the teacher was talking about a concept that elicited an interest in the student. I had one student who loved everything about dinosaurs and things from prehistoric times. And so if the student was in a class and something was mentioned, maybe it was about a movie or something to do with animals or anything they related to, say, a dinosaur, the student immediately would raise their hand and would ask questions about dinosaurs or prehistoric beings or animals that, even if it had nothing to do with the lesson, it struck something in them that they had to address. So the teacher's saying something usually was the antecedent, then the student would ask the question, and the behavior was for them to find out information or to, at times, to seem as if they were connected to the lesson going on. They usually were smart enough to be aware that they didn't always appear like their peers did, and so they wanted to try and fit in. So they kind of had a dichotomy going on in their behavior, in that they wanted to find out information, but they also wanted to be seen as inclusive with their peers. And then the consequence would either be the teacher answering the question and it satisfying their need, and at times the consequence was negative, in that they would ask the same question so many times until they got the answer they wanted, that it then caught the attention of their peers, and at times peers would say things that might be hurtful because their peers didn't understand why the student was asking the same question over and over, or why the question they asked was out of context. So the ABC, in terms of using like a functional behavior analysis, was very keen and important in helping us identify how to address that student so they could ask the question once, get the information they wanted, and then move on and still be connected to the lesson that was being taught. So Skinner and others of operant conditioning theories really developed a keen way for us to find out information.